Hello, my name is Leo. Welcome back for another episode of Hunter 3 in Black Ice as PRC. So, in previous episode, we started the second war against Japan, just so that we can start drifting a bit faster towards the Comintern, and we are now moving away at fairly decent speed, although right now it seems like we'll mostly be reaching more or less at the edge over here first, and then we'll start probably drifting towards the Comintern a bit faster. Or, like, at least towards the corner a little bit faster. But anyway, we're at least getting a bit closer now. We still have the war against Tibet going, although we've been resting with the troops for a little while. I think we'll probably start the fighting in June. Or rather, resume the fighting in June. And we are going to be getting some cruisers very shortly, so that'll be quite nice. We also have quite a bit of industry underway. Like, we're starting to industrialize very heavily right now. Of course, we are going to be getting some submarines in end of August or early September. And we'll be getting some more medium bombers. That's actually the first of medium bombers that we'll be getting. Hopefully soon enough. And there goes the... Right, we should actually go on speed 3, I reckon. Or maybe even speed 4 for a little bit. Since we are mostly just waiting right now, anyway. We'll do... Oh, right, we got our first mechanized division at the end of the last episode. Oh, and civil defense advance. Is that now ahead of time by chance? Yeah, it is. So we can drop that from the list. So we've got 225 techs underway. So there's quite a list there. We're starting to at least get some other techs underway. We've been doing some runway cratering in Nagasaki, which means that at least that airfield is mostly quite bad damage, let's just say. They can repair, you know, one squadron at a time. A bit more than that, but yeah, it's going to be very limited to repairs in there. I have had a look at the saves, so it looks like the Japanese fleet is fairly tiny. And it's mostly off island, or like somewhere in the... would that be Micronesia, Polynesia? Somewhere around here anyway, underneath the notifications. Ah, right. Small warship air radar advance. There we go. So air detection is increased. And, right. So there's the anti-air artillery computer that is unlocked again. Sure. I suppose we could research that. We've got a little bit of strings shortage. I suppose what we could do is we could go ahead and buy some more. And we'll buy that from the Soviets, as per usual. Hopefully that will help. But now if we were to look at the Soviets, we're currently... Oh, 101 points away. Okay. So, we're quarter of the way there. Ooh. Or rather, we need to reduce the distance to a quarter of what it is right now. But there we go, motor torpedo boat class advance. So actually, what year is that level? Okay, so it's like 1938 or 39, somewhere around there, is what we have right now. So not quite up to date on that. But we might go ahead and build a bit more motor torpedo boats. Those are just a fairly... easy way to get some extra ships. We'll probably get like 2 fleets of 6 or something like that. It won't take too long to build either. Of course, we do have a decent bit of production queued up still, but of course, a decent chunk of that is the mechanized divisions. So as soon as those are done, that's going to be reduced quite significantly. It looks like the bombing runs in Nagasaki are going still pretty strong. We're seeing a few convoys here and there. We could potentially... Well, I suppose we've got the naval infantry heading up from the Indo-China region. Ooh, there we go. Cruiser warfare advance. That'll be quite handy. We do actually have our sort of combat fleet in here. It's not really much of a combat fleet. It's mostly very out-of-date ships, let's be honest. But we could utilize them a little bit for... actually, I'm going to send them to Shanghai. Because I'm pretty sure that we've got the naval infantry heading down that way. We'll also take the... Well, probably these 2 transports... Actually, we'll send the landing craft in there directly, and then we'll send the transport fleet into Hangzhou. That way they're not in the same port, so we can control which ship goes where, essentially. Hey, cruiser crew training advance. Mobile unit training advance, very good. And Belgium wants to buy some oil, I suppose that's fine. We could always use a bit more cash, although we're not really that short on it right now. Let's have a look at the... resource. Actually, what do we need in terms of resources? We could have a bit... Well, nickel and molybdenum, I don't think there's a lot available, so trying to buy those is a bit of a moot point. We could buy some aluminum. Buy that from the Soviets, so they'll get more money. We luckily do have pretty good relations with the Soviets currently. So at least that is maxed out. Oh, there we go. Assault guns to level 5. How much do they have now stats? 16 soft, 7 hard, 28 piercing, 28 armor, 10 defense, toughness is still negative, but it's only -1 now, so it's getting better. And then there's the air defense of 6. Okay, so it's at least becoming somewhat reasonable attack values in there. Is there something we can keep on researching, or is that? No, that's being cancelled automatically. Alright then. Is there still... Right, so there's the advanced tank optics. That does give the assault guns a bit of extra toughness, so that will at least help to some degree. I suspect that the... Yeah, side shields will also give a bit of toughness. I can't get the slope armor yet, although I believe... if I'm in the Comintern, I will be able to start researching that, and that's going to give us a lot of armor. For various armored vehicles, and then some toughness as well. That would be quite useful. We could potentially get the battlefield modified armor as well, just to give that a tiny bit extra toughness, but overall it's relatively small. Bonus in there increases the fuel consumption, which I'd rather try to keep it a little bit on the minimum. Not necessarily entirely minimum, but you know, just not lean too heavily into it right now. But it looks like the Soviets are not far from Leningrad now. But they've definitely been taking some ground. Oh, and there's the aluminium surplus. Sniper Shield's protection advance, and the Soviets are offering... I guess we can sell them crude oil, but we are going to be a little bit low on crude oil then, which means that we might not be able to upgrade our productions as such. Although I suppose we are spending a bit of energy for the conversion over here. We're getting about to... Yeah, majority of what we gain is through conversion. There we go, radar training for ships, and submarine crew training. So we can actually get the submarine damage control again researching. That'll be rather handy. Let's actually have a look at the naval doctrine. So we're basically behind in everything in here. Well, that's good to know. Oh, there we go. That's another convoy sank. So I think what we'll do is we'll take the Jeju Island first as a bit of a initial stepping stone. We might build an airfield in there or something. Not really massive, but something that we can then use to do ground attacks in here once we start fighting in the main islands. But then we'll take Okinawa and the other islands over here. Oh, government repression. Well, we are going to be at war for a while, so we can take the extra money from that, I suppose. Bismarck is lost. Oh, and Eisenhower is lost. There we go. The German fleet is... some of it seems to have survived for a surprisingly long time, to be fair. Actually, that reminds me, how's... Ah, right, so they did the second landing in Norway, didn't they? Oh, and resource production, yeah, I'll take that. Not that we initially need the resources as such, although we did get a little bit of crude oil from that, so that's quite nice. But getting the IC efficiency is very useful. And there we go, medium armor down to level 7. Actually, what is our medium armor right now? It is type 59. But honestly, kind of looks like a T-34. A bit different turrets, so I suppose... Well, regardless, it's slowly coming together there. Well, armor we got the... Well, it's actually just generic at this point. And then heavy armor is... definitely look like a KV-1. Infantry tank is... Well, we haven't gotten a lot of levels on that one yet. So we'll have to wait to... Well, I suppose it won't really have necessarily names either. Not that it necessarily matters that much, let's be honest. Like, it's fun flavor, but it's... Like, it doesn't change the game that much. And seeing as like... Oh! Oh! There must have been something in here. Don't know what it was, though. There's the mobile unit command and control, so more morale for the troops. Doing the bombing runs at Nagasaki. I think now it is already June. Let's go ahead and start the fighting in here once more. We'll go ahead and put in the ground attacks. Defensive continues. Then what we'll do is we'll take 2 of these. We'll take probably 3 from here. So we'll have enough troops to rotate around, essentially, is the idea. Now we can probably slow down a tiny bit. But they got 10 units in there. They do not have any headquarters. But I'm sure that with the ground attacks that we're doing, things should be a lot easier. But that's why we haven't done too much yet. Oh, there's another convoy tank. And heavy cruiser advanced level 2. There we go. And we got one of our light cruisers. Right, that can go to the second destroyer fleet, I suppose. And since we got the level 2, I'm just going to go ahead and build up a couple more cruisers. They, of course, do take quite a while to build, mind you, but it probably will be, well, it might not be built during this war. But eventually we shall have some more cruisers. Okay, yeah, there we go. We can see that there is quite a drop in the numbers. They got about, well, so we're attacking with about 2 to 1. We're taking fairly hefty casualties. Oh, D-Day for the Allies. There we go. Installation security to level 2. Very good. And there's more cruisers. So I suspect that some of these will probably start running out of organization fairly quickly with the bombardments. And we just need to keep the fight going on for long enough, so we need to start rotating troops probably soon enough already. At least like 1 or 2 at a time. But again, these units that we can destroy from here means that there's one less unit that we need to worry about. And definitely the close air support seems to be doing fairly good damage overall. Oh, but yeah, the first of the mountaineers already needs to pull back. That's taking way too much damage. We'll keep on rotating. On the bright side, we'll be regaining our strength while they are losing theirs. Like, it was 46,000 not that long ago, now it's already down to 43,000. Thanks to our close air support. Doing quite a bit of damage in there. Did it change now? Oh yeah, that was another few hundred. That's another 250 or somewhere around there. But we haven't managed to destroy any of them properly yet. There's this Colonial Infantry Division that is down to 40 in organization. That's probably going to be one of the first ones to surrender. Also, we may need to exchange another one of these Mountaineers away, just to let them regain. We are building up the infrastructures up here, so we can regain organization slightly faster, but the effect is probably still going to be somewhat limited. Right, we've got another interceptor group. Let's go ahead and start building that up in here somewhere. Actually, how many... Okay, this would be the 6th interceptors then. I like using my assets in groups of 4 squadrons each. It's just, it gives them a little bit of, enough combat capabilities, essentially, to deal a lot of damage to the enemy, whether that be other planes, or, like, ground targets, or naval targets, or what have you, without starting to accumulate too much of the stacking penalty. Okay, we may need to start rotating some of the troops from the north as well soon enough. Actually, how much is the... They're down to 40,000 men, so they have been taking pretty hefty casualties. Ooh. Right, we sank a convoy going to now, huh? Right, I don't suppose the naval infantry has arrived yet. No. We got our motorized corps already in there, so the first naval corps will just... Actually, is that... No, that's not a full-on division. All the combat headquarters, but we'll move these to Shanghai. Then what I can do is I can load those up, hopefully, into... At least some of those into the landing craft. And then we can do potentially a landing in Jeju. Do we have any... Well, I suppose we got the... No, that's the naval bombers. We got the light bombers in here, which have been doing the runway crashing. We could potentially switch on doing crowd attacks in Jeju, and then from there, we can probably win the landing fairly quickly. And then, I don't know, we'll probably build a bit of an airbase in there, just so that we can use, like, close air support and such once we start doing the landings somewhere in here. Well, we'll probably do the landings... Either we'll do it... Oh, Operation Dragoon initiate. Right, we actually haven't had a look at the... Okay, that's a fairly sizable landing right now. Whether they can hold on to it or not remains to be seen. Oh, we lost some of the chromite. I suppose we could probably go ahead and buy some more chromite in the meanwhile. From the Soviets. They'll have maybe some money to expand their mines. Gibraltar is still holding on. And... Oh, right, so the Americans are still holding on to a little bit of the boot in Italy. There's now the landings in all around Marseille, so that's probably going to distract the Axis a little bit further, but how much ground they can actually cover there remains to be seen. It might not be all that much. Artillery unit training advanced, there we go. That's level 8. Is that... It's not ahead of time yet, but it's basically almost up to date now. But there we go. These bombers are not repairing all that much. So yeah, we could potentially switch the target to be over here, but we're gonna wait until the naval infantry is ready. And our bombings in Lhasa are still going on. Is there... Okay, so one of these light infantry division, that needs to pull back. I'm gonna send in the Mountaineer instead. And there's still all 10 units remaining. Suppose we can go ahead and put in the light bombers into this doing ground attacks now as well, just so that we can make sure that there is steady supply of bombs drop on top of them. Oh, there we go. That's at least a little bit more. Also, we got another unit that may need to retreat from here. I'm hoping that we can at least keep the fight going for long enough to at least remove 1 or 2 of the units. But I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I'll be honest. We'll definitely give it a try. Oh, and we're about to get another mechanized division, actually, in 2 days. That would be the number 3. Also get some air bases in Taiwan. That'll be quite handy, and... Oh, oil rig. There we go. That'll be useful. The artillery unit command and control advance. There we go. At least morale on the artillery unit should be fairly decent. Oh, they got another unit in here. Did they build that? I suppose they probably did. Let's see, so I suppose that one needs to pull back soon enough. I guess we're going to send that one in. Anything else over here that could join back in? This one soon-ish, I suppose. They are down to... Oh, wait, no, they got 46,000 men now. But I suppose one of those is the infantry, or the fascist militia unit that they just got, which is not really combat ready. So I think we've still got a bit of a chance in here. I suppose if we were to just send in maybe that one back into the combat. These are both in the combat still. Let's see, so there's the mechanized division that can go to the mechanized corps, which is in Korea right now. It's basically there to wait until we start doing landings into Kyushu. Oh, tomorrow we're going to get some tactical bombers. There we go. That will be rather handy. But yeah, there's still quite a bit of work to be done over here to destroy the enemy units. Oh, there we go. Direfire unit training. Soviet Union... Oh, they cancelled 2 trades. Well, that's not good. Just put in the tactical bombers there. Right, so that means that we need to do like 2 trades with the Soviets most likely. Although, how we started... Okay, we're now on 91. So if you do have a look at the drifts, it's still pretty decent, I would say. Like, it's at least... Right, I believe the 2.3 is a downward pull right now, and the 9.01 is the leftward pull. So we should be getting, well, probably another 10 or so per month right now. So, oh, we got tungsten mine online. There we go. We can invest into another level for it. I believe that one might already be in Korea, the one that we are upgrading. I mean, over here, that's actually maxed out already. Never mind then. So I guess the one that we're upgrading must be this one. And that's the last level for us. So we'll have 30 levels of tungsten. Right then, alright then. That's a pretty decent amount. I think we may need to pull that one out from the combat. So at least we're doing the bombing runs. We now have a look at the combat strengths in there. We've got 96,000 men. They got about 44,000. Of course, we're taking pretty hefty casualties in here. But if we can destroy like at least a few units over here, the bombing runs that will then start doing a lot more damage on the remaining ones. Ooh, mechanized breakthrough advance. There we go. More morale for the motorized mechanized divisions and reducing the combat width as well, which seems like a pretty decent idea to me. We could probably go ahead and... you know what? We need to improve relations. I'm just going to start buying a tiny bit of energy or something. Something that they can afford selling me, and I don't need to pay much to improve relations with them. Okay, there we go. So the colonial infantry is now down to 8 organization. That's another convoy tank. Is there... Right, there's room for 8 wings or squadrons there right now. We are actually getting the airfield tech though, aren't we? We are researching it, yes. Oh, there we go. So August will get that double. So then we could potentially bring in the medium bombers or something like that in here. Or just bring in some more close air support to help wreck the Tibetan troops. But we have not yet gained any levels in here. Let's see. For example, Banbar. Where is the infrastructure on the list? It's probably on the top of the list. We're going to... Oh, at the end of the month we'll start getting those levels up. Okay. That's going to allow us to regain organization slightly faster then. Which means that we can maybe do the attacks a bit more often. Oh, Operation Bagration. There we go. That should mean the Germans are going to be in deep trouble. And so, I suppose we can sell a bit of supplies. Oh, the Allied landings have taken quite a bit of ground in Brittany. Oh, like Brittany and Normandy. And the southern landings have also gained a decent ground. They're into Italy. As I say, pre-war Italy. Although, only barely. So, let's have a look at the combat. Oh, one of the units from Banbar needs to pull back. Just so that we can rotate to still maybe a little bit more. Do we have any over here that is... Well, I suppose that could be sent back in. We'll take that one out. So we'll have 6 divisions in there. Of course, with the bombing runs that we're doing, the enemy should be losing a decent bit of... Oh, naval underwear replenishment. There we go. Yeah, in 6 days we'll get the infrastructure built or leveled up. We are going to get a steel refinery in July. Not that we initially need the steel, let's be honest, but it wouldn't hurt to have some extra necessarily. In 4 days, we'll get another mechanized division. And we've still got another 2 underway, but those will probably be sped up a little bit. Then we'll get a bit of infantry as well. Just so that we can have maybe a bit more troops to either send into Japan, because we are needing a lot of troops in there, I reckon, if we are going to invade them. Which we might. Right, we still haven't really done the damage over here that I was hoping for. I mean, sure enough, they're taking a decent bit of casualties, so like reinforcing all of this is probably going to take a while for them. Even if we were to have, or even if we had to cancel the attack, which right now I don't think we need to quite yet. But the organization is going to start becoming a bit of an issue, but we can probably keep on rotating the troops for at least a little bit longer. And as soon as we get the extra infrastructure in here, it's going to be basically an extra 50% organization gain. I'll consider that we're upgrading from level 2 to level 3. Ah, right, we need to retreat one. Oh, medium tank destroyer is level 1, there we go. We'll retreat that one. Keep it at 5 divisions for a little while. Oh, export rubber to hide it now. Huh. Not a chance. At least not this time. I mean, clearly we're doing fairly good damage on the enemy with the bombing runs, but not necessarily quickly enough. So just having more planes to do the sorties, maybe like one set to do during nighttime, one set to do during daytime. That would already help a little bit further. But down to 40,000 men. Oh, sniper warfare. I believe that is now maxed out tech, isn't it? Yes, yes it is. Okay, well that's good. So we're down to 220 techs actually. Oh right, and we got the medium tank destroyer. Right, we can actually keep on researching that. How good is the medium tank destroyer right now? We only got like 1 level, so it probably isn't going to be all that great. So it's got 9 soft attack, 14 hard attack. It's got piercing of 55, which is actually pretty decent. It's probably... It is actually higher than the heavy AT has. So there we go. It's got armor of 28. It is a little bit expensive, 21.5 IC. Of course, that does use the armor practical, so right now it is still increased in cost. It's got 5 defense, -3 toughness, 5 air defense, and -25 softness. Or -25% softness. It's got decent speed and all that, so yeah, that could be actually quite useful. We might want to start getting some of those eventually. Not necessarily too much yet, but somewhere down the line. Actually, where do we have the motorized corps? Over here. I'm just going to go through the tank destroyers over here and upgrade those into medium tank destroyers. It might reduce the stats right now, but I'm pretty sure that it will still be kind of useful in the long run. I suppose over here, well, it's got the medium armor in there. Let's just have a look. So that's got a tank destroyer. Let's upgrade that to medium tank destroyer. And we could upgrade the anti-aircraft gun into self-propelled AA actually. That will make them a bit faster. So we've got a few units underway, or undergoing some upgrades now. Those are actually not going to take that long, so I'm going to push those to the top of the list. It does slow down some of these productions for sure, but it's not going to last that long. Plus, we'll be getting, actually tomorrow, another mechanized division. How much is our... Okay, armor practical is 3.1. Mobile unit 8.6. So those are at least going to be upgrading. There's still a bit more room for improvement in both artillery and infantry. I'm sure that we're working on those. We are down to 4 units attacking right now. Did we have any... Well, I suppose that could be sent back in. Just to keep the troops in combat. And then maybe this one... Well, it's not quite 20 organization yet. I'm going to wait at least it's 20. Oh, armor headquarters advance. Inhuman wave doctrine, alright. Adaptive sonar. That is good. And that is the mechanized division. So let's go ahead and drop that on the mechanized corps. That's number 3 in there. Although it is technically speaking the mechanized division number 4. But number 3 in that corps. So yeah, it's 2 more days for the infrastructure. And of course, it's not going to have an impact immediately, but once we start getting a bit of the levels in there, it should have a bit of impact on the organization regain as well. Oh, well, there we go. Runaway cratering in Nagasaki. Ground attacks are still taking place at least, like, not necessarily every day twice, but a lot of the days we're doing 2 attacks, which means that both of the wings or air groups are doing strikes there. Ah, AP ammo for cruisers. That's quite useful. Actually, let's have a look at the cruiser stuff. So we are up to date. Oh, right, we get heavy cruiser armament underway, of course. That might help. Don't necessarily need to prioritize it too much, although we'll be getting through the text in due time. We still haven't managed to destroy any of these units, though. That's a bit of the problem in here, but at least we're seeing a lot of Japanese convoys, if nothing else. Of course, there are going to be some enemy units in here, especially some of the garrisons and such, that might start shattering at some point. if we can keep this fight going on for long enough. And there's going to be the infrastructures. There we go. Infantry unit training advance. So we got even higher max organization. Not massive increase in there, perhaps, but it's still an increase. Okay, we got to pull back one of these mounted divisions. I guess we could send this one in. Yeah, I suppose that will have to do. Let's keep the fight going. So, how are we looking on the manpower in the combat now? They've got 37,500. We've got about 79,000. So, we've still got about 2-to-1 ratio in there. Of course, attacking into mountains, that's not really quite enough, let's be honest. But, I think we are slowly making some headway in here. Again, like, if we can just get enough damage down to some of these units so that they either shatter or run out of organization, then there won't really be a problem any further. And thus, the bombing should or can focus then on the remaining units there. And, you know, it's like as soon as one unit goes, then the rest will go a lot faster. Ooh, automotive factory in Qingdao. Right, actually, how much automotive factories do we have? Let's see. We got 16 artillery, 7 automotive. Okay, so it's going to be 8 after that. Right, that's the light bombers doing the runs right now. Which does mean that the close air support may have been resting there for a little while. But now that we're getting the infrastructure in here, I'm sure that the organization regain is already slightly improved. Although, it may not be a huge increasement quite yet. That's going to have to pull back from the combat. Which means that we may need to send in another unit in there. That one's going to be pulling out of the combat very shortly, so we'll do that already. These can still keep in there. So, how much do we have? We've got 5 units versus their 10. Of course, manpower-wise, we've still got the advantage, although it's not really that massive advantage now. Well, it's still about 2-to-1, actually. Ooh, there we go. So that's the automotive factory, direct fire unit command and control to level 8. So that's even more morale. So we're going to at least regain the organization, again, a tiny bit faster on average. Yeah, it's already 0.04 in here. Of course, that's probably getting a bit of impact from the infrastructure. Although it could be that it takes from the full levels, admittedly, so it might not actually be that much yet. And there goes a bit of IC efficiency down. Ground attack in Laza, right. Yeah, no, that's to be expected. So there's several units that are like in the 50% of their strength. But that's not quite enough yet, I'm afraid. We need to wait on some of these units to be ready to join or rejoin the combat. Ooh, heavy armor designed to level 4, so now we're going to get the heavy assault guns and light armor recon. Now, if I remember correctly, the light armor recon is actually kind of worthless because it's... I don't know actually if that's been fixed yet, but I'm pretty sure that the... Yeah, no, the light armor recon does not get any morale or organization, so it's a vanity thing. Now, sure enough, I can still give some stats for the units, perhaps, but that's about it. Actually, I suppose that should be in the recon in here, shouldn't it? If it was already fixed, but I'm pretty sure that that's one of those things that will be fixed in the next patch. But it's not yet fixed, I think, or could be mistaken. No, it's not listed in there yet. So, yeah, currently it's kind of pointless. But what is not pointless is getting the heavy assault guns. At least researching those. Whether we'll actually build them remains to be seen. Probably not all that many, at least, if we do. But yeah, I don't think we'll actually get through this combat quite yet. We've dealt a lot of damage. If we keep the ground attacks going, we can keep them somewhat damaged even later on. Oh, there's another convoy sank. Army unit training advanced. Very good. So yeah, because we're not regaining the organization fast enough in here yet. Although it is improving. It is definitely improving. I think we're going to have to hold back the attack again. There would be a few units that could maybe join in the combat. But I'm just going to take the heavy loss there. That's almost 39,000 men compared to the 100 casualties. Of course, that does not include the ground attack casualties. So that's not necessarily entirely accurate numbers there. Hey, commander decision making advance, and UK is no longer buying that. Oh, right, speaking of buying things. Soviet Union, we're going to buy some more energy from you. And I think, well, we seem to be out of time for this episode, but I think in next episode we'll start by doing the landings over here in Jeju, because our naval infantry is now ready. And actually, we can load up all of this into... Interesting. So we'll land with 5 units at a time. We'll send in the fleet to give a bit of a short bombardment and or provide a bit of protection against any enemy fleets in here. And we'll have the interceptors hopefully cover at least some of it. Yeah, these can provide some air coverage in there. So that will help. And we'll have our interceptors in here as well. And we have the light bombers, actually cancelled that order already. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check out the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.